All right, in this video, we are going to use the definition of the derivative of first principles to basically find the derivative of these functions at the given value of a. So generally speaking, our equation for the derivative using the definition is just f prime a equals lim h approaches 0, f of a plus h minus f of a divided by h. So let's start by just finding f of h for this a plus h for this first question over here. We know that a is just 2, so I can replace the a with 2. And if I sub that in over here, I'll get 1 over 2 plus h. Next, let me just find f of a. I know a is 2, so f of 2, that's just 1 over 2. Now let me sub this all into my limit equation over here. So lim h approaches 0, 1 over 2 plus h plus 1 over 2, all divided by h. Now I just have to simplify this. So to simplify this, I'll start by making a common denominator in the top. I'll multiply 2 on the top and bottom over here. I'll multiply 2 plus h on the top and bottom over here. So I have 1 times 2, which is 2, and then 1 times 2 plus h, which is 2 plus h. On the bottom, I have 2 times, oops, I have a tiny mistake here. It's a minus, not a plus. Minus is minus, and then a negative 1 times negative h is negative h. So this negative distributes into that multiplication. On the bottom, I have 2 times 2 plus h, and all of this is divided by h. Next step, I can do two things. I can combine like terms in the top, and I can also combine the two denominators in that step. If I combine like terms in the top, 2 minus 2 is just 0. I'm left with negative h in the top. And this h, I can just multiply it with this denominator. So I'm just left with 2h plus 2 plus h on the bottom. Then these two h's can cancel out. And once you cancel out the h's, that's when you can sub in your h as a 0. So if I replace this with 0, I'm just left with negative 1 over 2 times 2, which is just negative 1 over 4. That's my solution for the first question over there. So let's go to the next question, second question. Try that one for practice. Quadratic equation, I'm using the same formula here. So let's start by finding my a value is 1. So let's start by finding f of 1 plus h. Subbing that in over here, so I have 1 plus h square plus 4. I want to expand this all out. That's 1 plus h plus h. I'm doing FOIL plus h squared plus 4. Then you can combine like terms. So you'll get h squared plus 2h plus 5. Next, let me just find f of a. So just f of 1, that's just 1 squared plus 4, which is 5. And let me sub into my formula now. Lim h approaches 0, h squared plus 2h plus 5 minus 5 divided by h. Can combine like terms in the top here. Those two just cancel. Can factor out an h over there. Now I can just cancel these two h's. And then I can sub in my limit of 0. So 0 plus 2 is 2, which is my solution for the second question over here. Let's go to this third question, again, quadratic one, so pretty similar. Let's start by finding f of -1 plus h. That's 3 minus -1 plus h square. So I'm going to expand this out. 3 minus 1 minus h plus h square. Can combine like terms in there. I'll actually distribute the negative in first and then combine like terms at the end. Then I'll find f of a, which is just f of -1, so 3 minus -1 squared, which is just 3 minus 1, which is 2. And then I'll sub this in my whole equation. So lim h approaches 0, 2 plus 2h minus h squared minus 2 divided by h. 2 and -2 cancel. I can factor out an h over here. I'm left with 2h 2 minus h. H and h cancel. Then sub in my h as 0. My final answer for this one is just going to be positive 2. And last question here, we have a cubic equation. So again, I'll start by finding f of the a value is 0, so 0 plus h. Before I sub this into the equation, I know f of 0 plus h can just be simplified to f of h, because 0 plus h is just h. Now I'll sub this into this equation over here. So it's just h cubed plus h. And that cannot be simplified, doesn't need to be expanded because we have nothing to expand over there. Then I'll find f of a 0. If I just sub into that, it's just going to give me 0. Now I can put it into my main equation. So lim h approaches 0, h cubed plus h. I guess technically you don't need the minus 0 because it doesn't mean anything. Divided by h, that just disappears, doesn't mean anything, like I said. Can factor out an h on the top. These two h's cancel, and I'm just left with h squared plus 1. If I sub in 0, 0 squared plus 1 is just 1. So the derivative for this question at that point, a equals to 0, is just 1. If you made it to the end of this video and you found this content helpful, please hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.